And we are alive.
Oh, while we're queuing up here, look at. I
What are we doing?
This before we walk over. I want you to see this, Ange.
What is it? What do you want me to see?
It's this. Come see this. It's the junk pot swag I have assembled.
Okay.
Look, I mean, come on.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things.
All right, just so you know.
Hello! Hello! Friends!
Oh,
Even the puppies are excited you're here. All of
you made it. Oh, Dave Peterson. I promised Dave Peterson once next week I'll start tuning into your Twitches. I owe you about 50 Twitch views.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Well, actually 53 Twitch views, David Peterson. Oh man, I hope everyone's doing well. It's Drawn to Fantasy. Drawn to Fantasy.
Oh yes.
With Ange and Tony D. Ladies first. We're drawn to fantasy.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Ange?
What?
It's Wednesday, May 27th, in the year 2020.
Happy hump day!
I should say that in a robot voice. Welcome to the year 2020.
What?
The future is coming and it's going to suck.
Well, I love that. One of the things I saw was, so when everyone got asked in 2015, where do you see yourself in 5 years? No one got it right. You're all wrong.
Home, alone, a lot. And you took a little poll. Thank you for doing that, because we were kind of torn what to do today with only 3 episodes left of our daily feed.
What?
Of our daily feed. I will remind our listeners, daily feed. Maybe
Tomorrow we might have to cut out a little short.
And we do have to cut a little short. We have a birthday party drive-by to be at. We have to be there by 4, right?
We have to be there at 4.
So that means we'll leave here around 3:30, so it'll be a little short. Maybe we'll go on a little early. We'll just see. And if anyone wants to roll in a little early,
why don't we...
I'll go on at like 2:30. If you're there, you're there. And if you're not, you know. But there you go. You took a little poll, Ange, because I wasn't sure if they wanted to see more sketchbooks. They wanted me to ink. I tell you, that was so much fun yesterday.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
More fun than I thought it was going to be.
So much more
And
fun.
I know you were skeptical. Let's be honest.
Let's
You were
be
like,
honest. I was
who
like,
wants to page through an old...
Just going through an old sketchbook? Like, is that something people want to see?
Apparently, yes.
You guys answered.
You did.
That question.
You did. And I have to say, I started sketching out. I'll show you guys, because I'm crazy.
What'd you do?
It's like a treat for next week, Ange. It's not for this week.
Hello,
it's for
Jason Stone.
It's a treat for me for next week. Look, I scanned in that sketch of the Umber Hulk, that dungeon cover that I never did back in 1997. I'm not going to paint it. I'm just going to do a nice ink drawing. But there it is. I wanted to come back, so I made the wizard more just like a wizardy wizard, and I'm giving him a little dwarf sidekick. Maybe it's, I can't remember the name of that dwarf I drew for Inktober, but I think it's going to be that guy.
Exciting day today.
Is it?
SpaceX. Isn't there's like a space shuttle that's launching today, right?
No kidding. I
At
didn't know
4. At 4, is it 4:20 or I don't know.
Can we see it from here?
Something or other. Well, yeah, if you go to like NASA.com or whatever it is. Like,
Then you can see it from there.
Yes, you can see it.
Oh, cool. All right, I'm going to move Kenny over.
So, it's an exciting day. It's all about exploration.
Yes, it is.
Into your imagination and into space, apparently.
Since I saw you guys last, if you're just joining us and you have no idea what's going on, welcome. I've been doing this for 50-something days now. I am working on artwork that will adorn a sleeve, which will house both Kenny and the Dragon, my 2008 book, I think.
Really?
And the upcoming Kenny and the Book of Beasts, which will be out this fall. This is the color comp that I use as my guide.
Imagine being like, in 12 years, you're going to do a sequel for this book.
I know. The kids that grew up...
trapped in your house.
The kids that grew up on it are like, yo, bro, I'm in college now. Like, I'm not really sure I care about what happened to that dragon and the little bunny. Anyway, I've started putting shadow down now. If you've also tuned in before you know that this is the second step on my painting process, where after the white acrylic dries, the unbleached titanium, I then start to mix all my acrylic gouache and start gouaching. So Charlotte's all done. She's got her shadows put in. She's ready for color. I'm going to do George. I've got plenty of them to do today.
Wow. Christopher Arnold broke away from the NASA live stream just to hang with us.
Oh my! Well, if you want, we'll shoot a rocket off just for you.
You know, of course, now we're
That
going
one's
to
done.
like have the SpaceX
Kenny's
launch
done.
because there's aliens.
Yeah. Yes. Apparently, then they're down there. So you can see the shadows on Kenny are done. Look at that. I got real lucky. Look at that ear, Ange. Right there in the ear, you get that little bit of the ear catching light. So I do have a global light source that I'm working with, and that's a light source that's coming this way onto everybody in the painting. So you can see it really effective here, like how Dante's kind of peeking out from behind Kenny, and a lot of this disappears in the shadow. So I've started, I don't go too bonkers with the shadow, but there's a lot of shadow there. You can see the lightest where the light's hitting him now. I've got this as a nice little guide. Cools, I'm using two colors for my, what I like to call my liquid shadow brew. It's raw umber and ash blue, nice and cool with a little tiny hint of maybe a little purpley in there. And anyway,
Dang, that looks good.
it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to get on to George. I've got lots more to do, and we're going to do it live. And then we'll take questions, and, I'll just do what I do. And do what you do when you did what you did to me. Do you remember?
Eduardo wants to marry Dante.
Really?
That's amazing. I love that.
Dante is definitely looking for a partner. He really is.
He's smart.
He is.
He's
He is
funny.
Very funny. Laughs a lot. He was loosely inspired by I'm so bad at guessing people or remembering people's names. Angie, you can vouch for me on that. The actor who played Sala in Raiders of the Lost Ark, who was also Gimli in Lord of the Rings, is John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
John Rhys Davies, I think.
John Rice.
John Rice Davies. His Sala character, even as Gimli. That is very always laughing and stuff. Yes. So when
awesome.
Dante and Graham, there's a scene where they're playing a card game, and he's like, "Ha! You always cheat. You're terrible. You always lose. I always beat you." So I was thinking of that, like kind of.
Alfonso got it. Jonathan Rice Davies. Yes, exactly.
Thank you. So I start with this. I've got a nice. I don't know if you can see. It's pretty liquidy. I keep adding water to it, trying to get as much out of it as I can. I'm using a very big brush, a number 12. And I'm sketching with it. So I start actually with the dark. I do these little, just these sketching these little dark pockets, and this is shadow.
Shadows.
What we do in the shadows. Here it is.
Dang. I'm always amazed when I'm watching this because I'm like, it definitely looks wet. It looks like it could drip. And that freaks me out. And this happened last time, and I've watched you paint how many times?
Yeah, years, right?
Yep. And now you're like drawing with
Kind of drawing, yeah. I'm just kind of putting in some spots. No, I'm not solid. I'm sketching with it. There's like a giant marker. Though her art is not for the whole family. Olivia de Berardinis is a terrific painter. She's a pinup artist in the oldest school sense of Alberto Varga and The Spirit of Him, or George Petty, or Gil Evgren. And Olivia does a very similar thing I noticed, and she uses a giant wedge marker. Have you noticed that? She'll use this giant wedge marker to do it. I'm just doing it with brush.
Kevin Sylvester said that brush seems so big for this.
Yeah, but look, I've got the touch. Right now, I don't have old man shaky hands.
Hold it up to the camera so we can see how, like...
There you go, get a sense of how big it is.
Yeah, hold it up there.
And it's frayed and everything, but it's loaded with paint. So again, the thing for me is I'm kind of sketching with the paint. That's because I'm not really a painter. I'm a drawer by nature. I'm not,
Did it come in that shape? It looks like you.
No, it's frayed. It's frayed from me moving paint around on it.
It's like a pencil.
Well, no, it came like in a, like this. Like it's a round. It's like a round. Well, that one's got a little curl because I left it.
I know, but it's so funny. Even the way.
Yeah, because you have like your flats, like your wedge, like this, and this is a round. So I'm using the round, like a giant. Here, this one's in better shape. This one's Sophia's. Oh, That's the before. That's the after.
That makes sense.
This is why I get cheap brushes, because this is what I do to them. I'm constantly scrubbing that paint around, and
nobody tosses a dwarf. That's good.
Don't tell the elf. So, Angie, yeah, I'm just doing a little. I'm not, again, for me at least, I love letting all the underlying layers kind of shine through. It kind of sparkles.
Blowing my mind right now.
Am I? This is it.
Yeah, you're just going. You're just, look how it just. It's like it's like watching a like musician, like a well-trained musician, but just like kind of noodling on a guitar, where it's just like, wow, that sounds really beautiful, but it's just so what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of off the cuff, It looks very.
That is the nicest compliment you can give me.
Really?
It really is, because I love music, and I had Elton John blaring before you came down. I'd found a recording from 1975 that is, may or may not have been officially released, a live show that I may not have found on YouTube, and just was listening to that, and it was pretty awesome. Anyway, yeah. Now, see, look, it's thin. See how it's thinning now? It's not as I keep going.
You're using it up.
I'm using it up. So now I'm pressing in it more because now I'm the next level up of tone. Does that make sense? Yes. Like I've gone up. I went from those early ones. Those are probably
in on it a little bit more. I just want to.
Really? I want them to be able to see everything. I mean, it was an 80. It was like an 80 gray, and now it's like more like a 50.
You know what it is? I'm sitting here. It's so. I'm gonna use the word weird. It just, you know what it is? It's like 27 years of watching you paint, and it still feels like magic.
Aww.
Like I know all the steps.
The people watching should know most of the steps.
Know all the steps.
There's nothing different here than it's all. This is why I wasn't sure you guys wanted to see this. It's pretty much what we did with the fairy. When we did the fairy a month ago.
Jason Lalona asks, who would you cast as George's voice?
Ooh, George. He's old, and he's even older in this new book. I mean, he's definitely the age is starting to catch up with him. So I would picture a very old, kind of textured voice that it's very gravelly.
Like what about but is it?
Is it
what
Ian?
about like John Cleese?
Like John Cleese now?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. There was talk
because
of
he's still really charming.
Yeah.
So the other thing is he was a bookshop owner. So
and he was a knight, which means he's charming.
Exactly. He was a bookshop owner.
But he's got a temper.
Right.
Because he's a badger.
So I feel like... What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd be curious because, before...
I mean...
What was it, about a year or couple of years ago, there was an animation studio interested in making an adaptation of Kenny and the Dragon. And we ended up unfortunately not striking a deal, and I was bummed out because I was really excited about this animation studio.
Billy Connolly.
Ooh, Billy Connolly's good.
Exactly.
Someone's
That's what
thinking.
I was thinking. Somebody really charming like that, but they could also be really bristly.
Yeah. Anyway, my agent tells me that with this new book, there's always new possibilities of finding a theatrical thing. Not that that's why I make my books, or is it? Someone once told me that my writing and my storytelling was very cinematic, and I thanked them, and they said it's not always considered a compliment.
What is that? Who told you that?
You know who it was.
No, I don't. Oh, screw him.
I guess.
Really? I mean, come on.
I don't know. I just wondered that. I don't make my books.
It's not a compliment. It's like
I don't make my books with a movie in mind. But I make them to
director.
Yes.
On the page.
But I make them to compete with movies. I think that's important. I think kids have a lot of things that we all have a lot of things that distract us now. Apps, games, television, and I feel that a good book, especially books for children, really have to bring it. That's my thinking.
Kevin Sylvester thought it was Neil Gaiman. No, it was not.
No, it was
Gaiman.
not Neil. Because that would have been.
No, because in fact, he's so cinematic in his writing.
No, Neil's advice to me was option everything.
And cash the check.
And cash the check. That was Neil's advice to me. And he's right, because, you know, we've had a lot of stuff optioned over the years, and, you know, so far, only one thing's been made, and I'm super stoked about that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for siding with me. You know what it is? I'm like a mama bear that way. Like, don't come for me. I know where that was coming from.
You
do?
do?
It was totally backhanded.
Yeah, well... Yeah.
And it was out of jealousy. Sorry.
There you go. Look, I think George's shadows are done, Ange. We did all that. I'm gonna add a little water to it, so now it's really... There's just a little bit left, but there's enough for me to do a little bit of... I'm just doing a little tone. This is all it is. These tones are going to get built up. They're going to get painted on over and over, but it's kind of a slow starting process for me, kind of figuring out exactly where the shadow is and just doing it. Way back when I was unsure of myself, this level of toning would have been done in pencil. I would have done all this work in pencil, and I just do it in paint now.
I also feel like you learned a lot about tone in cross-hatching.
I learned the most about tone and value. I should say the scale, the shadowing that's going on here that helps define
the spectrum of dark to light.
Yes,
Light to dark.
definitely all those pen and ink drawings certainly help. I learned it the most on One Low when we had to do those compositions, and they had to work essentially as black and white grayscale images. That's
one color.
Yeah, and then but the color was always like a bonus. It was never the defining thing. It just added to it. It was like we've baked a really good cake and let's put really good icing on it, but not this is really good icing and a lousy cake. That makes sense? That's a really weird metaphor, but anyway. All right, so he's done.
I love Billy Connolly. I think he's exactly the voice who I would picture for George. I love that he's like the angry Scotsman. I
love it too.
I love it. You guys are great.
And you know, Billy Connolly was friends with one of my favorite musicians, the late, great Jerry Rafferty. Let's see if anyone listening knows who Jerry Rafferty is, because he wrote some pretty amazing songs. One of them was a very huge hit. But Billy Connolly, I watched, as I'm often wont to do on YouTube, I love a good rockumentary, and there was a really good one I found on Jerry Rafferty. And Ange, I didn't invite you to watch it with me because,
Jerry Rafferty.
Because Jerry Rafferty. But Billy Connolly apparently was really good friends with him.
I was just thinking about,
Jerry Rafferty.
No.
And Billy Connolly. Doubters. Haters.
Not even haters. Just doubters.
Look at this. Look how big this is going to be compared to Flit.
Because often there is people who are quick to criticize others' work because it's really reflecting how they feel about themselves.
Okay.
So I remember, I had somebody that was really pretty nasty to me many years ago and very criticizing of the fact that, I would give input, like the input I give to Tony, and this person said to me, "What do you know? You don't even write kids' books."
Yes, that's right. We were at a function, and she's like, "Why are you even here?
Why are you even here? You don't even write kids' books." And I totally broke down in tears in front of people. It was horrible. I ran into a bathroom and started crying.
Because somehow it cut to the quick, and everyone was kind of in shock when that happened.
Everyone was completely
myself included.
in shock. And I took a lot of time being angry.
You went through the stages.
I went through the stages. And then, upon reflection, I thought, you know what? I'm going to let the voices of those who doubt me fuel my ambition.
Uh-huh.
And so, sometimes there are those people in your life that you come across, but don't let it dissuade you from
following
your path.
Your passions.
And your passions, exactly.
It could be a parent. So I hear a lot of times parents aren't as supportive as we'd like to think they are. One of the stories that I remember was early in my career, I was at a signing, and a little boy came up with his father. Ange, I can't remember if you were with me on this one.
I was not, but I remember you telling me about
I was
it.
so struck by this. And the father said he's really into drawing all the time. This kid was like an elementary school aged kid. His father says he draws all the time. And I don't know, my wife and I don't know, maybe there's no wife. I don't want to add any more to the story than there is. Basically, the short of it was, I don't know, I can't get him to stop. And so I brought him here so that you could tell him there's no future in making art for a living. And I'm like, I looked at the dad and I looked at the kid and I said, do you like to draw? And the kid nodded. He shook his head, yeah, a little boy. And I said, then draw every day. And I went and I kind of pulled the dad aside and I'm like, first of all, why would you bring him to me? I'm the last thing you wanted. I'm the person that's succeeding in doing it, and the reason I do it is because my parents encouraged me.
It's so bizarre.
At a young age. It was
so bizarre. Like that's like taking your kid to an NFL game and being like, tell him why you can't be a successful football player.
I don't know if you want me to tell him it's hard. I mean, sure it's hard. Everything's hard. If it was easy, then everyone would do it. Everything is hard. Nothing is easy.
Yeah.
Everything takes work. Everything takes sacrifice and commitment, and doesn't matter what it is you want to learn. You want to learn how to be an automotive, work with your hands and fix a car. Guess what? That's hard. You got to learn how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
You're not born knowing that.
Yeah. And when I had that run-in with that woman or that person, woman,
who we may or may not name at the end of the show.
Every book that comes out, every time I get my first finished copy of a book, okay, I think of her. And in my mind, I send her a copy. I haven't done it, but in my mind, I've done it every single time.
In the movie dramatization, you would.
Yes.
Because it
yes.
would be good.
Yes.
That leads me to wonder, and I feel like you and I have talked about this. I know I've talked about it with other people. Do the bullies in our lives shape us for the better? Think about that. In the moment, it's brutal and it's hard and it's horrible. And from someone who was bullied, I can definitely relate to having very dark thoughts as a middle school kid of the things I would do to these bullies. If I had superpowers or whatever, these dark fantasies that I'm sure many kids still go through. But do these blocks, these obstacles, help make us stronger? Now, I say this as a middle-aged white guy, so the things that have been roadblocks for me are very different than they would be perhaps for someone else,
like
a person of color, or a person in a part of the world that doesn't have the opportunity that the United States has. So I'm recognizing that when I say this. But I have to wonder, do the bullies of our past help shape us to who we are? I don't know the answer. I just wonder it.
Well, I think speaking from my personal perspective, for me, that adversity has definitely informed my determination.
Yeah.
But it's also informed my empathy.
Ah. Tell me more.
Now I can look back on my bully in middle school, who was horrible and shoved me down the hall every day and called me names and threatened to do horrible things to me. Now I look back and I feel sorry for her.
So you're shifting gears from the adult who said the mean-spirited things to you to you're going back to middle school.
But I do think about that adult who said mean things to me as well, and I know where it came from. She was a successful bookmaker.
Once upon a time.
And really what she was angry with wasn't me personally, it was what I represented, which is she was threatened by the kind of younger whippersnappers at the time. This was probably
15 years ago.
Over 15 years ago. And she was threatened by the fact that her career was declining and these new folks were coming in, and she felt threatened by that. And I felt bad, but she wasn't self-reflecting enough to know how that's how it was manifesting.
Yeah. And didn't realize that, of course it happened. It happens to everybody.
And
you can't be on top of the world.
Ooh, the rocket launch is happening now?
No way.
No way.
If you guys need to go and watch it.
Yeah, we totally would get that.
Go watch the rocket launch. Wait, is this the thing that what's his face is doing? Elon Musk? Is it Elon Musk?
That's his SpaceX, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
I heard the what's the attire that they're wearing? Their uniforms or whatever look like stormtroopers. Somebody said.
Oh, really?
So it is about how we use that experience. I mean, you like retaliated against your bully at the bus stop.
Oh, in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fought. Well, my dad was grew up in upstate New York. He was, I got to get another one. Hold on, I'll be right back. I got to go grab another.
And sorry if I'm missing all your comments. Tony and I are both just like talking and reflecting, and let's see. Some of your thoughts is.
Yeah, I'm curious what other people are thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are responding. Was anyone ever bullied by a teacher? Penny asks. Wow.
Ooh, I had definitely had. It's so funny because being where I am in my career now, I'm often asked to speak to groups of teachers. And, not every teacher was encouraging. I wasn't, but I also wasn't always the best student in class either. So I'm sure a lot of it I deserved. I think I was in high school in the 80s, and I think in the 80s there was definitely still a stigma that you can't make a living as an artist, so you need to stop drawing and, pay attention to, academics and or sports or something that I could possibly make a living. So I don't think I had any bully teachers. I think I had teachers though who weren't particularly supportive, but was fortunate that all my art teachers were amazing and super supportive.
Susie Hammond says, I still want to find one of my bullies to this day. Yeah. Tell him about the bully list.
Oh, yeah, it's a friend of ours. So I'll change his name for sake of, he's not watching, but just in case.
This is like something from a movie.
This is some friends that I had back in Florida, and they were D&D gamers, and they had been friends since elementary school, I want to say, or middle school. They've been friends a very long time. And literally, one of them was like scarecrow thin, and the other one was tubby, for lack of a better word. He was stocky and big. He was very barrel chested and a big belly and very tall.
He was a big guy.
He was a big guy, big hands, big feet, and the funniest, sweetest, nicest person.
Oh my gosh, he was like a big mush. He was hilarious.
And he was really funny. And we'll call him John, after John Candy. We'll say he's like a John Candy. And we'll call his friend, I want to say Scalito, because we just watched, whatchamacallit, the other night. But no, we'll call him...
John and Jim.
Jim, okay. So Jim was like a brainiac. He was a big comic book nerd, loved Dungeons and Dragons. Anyway, in the early 90s, after they graduated from high school, John went into the military. And John was relentlessly teased. They went to public school down in South Florida. John was relentlessly teased for his weight and the fact that he was kind of schlubby and all these things. So he went into the military in the early 90s and actually was in Desert Storm. So to give you an idea, he served, and I think he grew up a lot. and obviously it changed him. I'll zoom in on a little bit here so you guys can watch while I'm doing this.
Jim.
He wasn't slim. That's just
Jim was.
Jim was
Yeah,
slim. Yeah.
Slim
But the
Jim.
other one, John, became solid. He was like a solid dude. Like he was a big guy, and now it was a mixture of there was a lot of muscle underneath everything else. So he finished, and he finished his tour. He came back to Jupiter, Florida, our hometown, and again, big gamer, big D&D. We used to go to comic book conventions together in the 90s and all that stuff. Anyway, one day we're at the mall, and Jim points to John and goes, "Oh no." He goes, "What?" And he goes, "He just found someone." He tells me, he goes, "John just found someone on his list." And I'm like, "List?" And he's like, "So there were some people that were really mean to him in grade school." And I was like, "Yeah, you guys have told me that." He goes, "So he made a list of like 8 or 10 people of the bullies. And he carries that list around in his wallet." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "There's only like 2 people left on the list." And I go, "Left for what?" So what John would do is he would walk up to the person and go, "Are you so-and-so?" And they'd say, "Yes." And then he goes, "Do you remember me?" And they'd say, "Yes" or "No." And then he would proceed to basically hit them in one shot, punch them, and just lay them out with so much anger and frustration and now strength. So this had gone on for years, where he would see, because we're in Florida. It's definitely the kind of town where people don't necessarily move away from. They stay. They tend to settle down.
Say, like #Florida man.
Well, and also
like
it's also #Florida. Let's be honest. So, and also, guys, this is like late '80s, early '90s. This is happening. So
exactly. Preface this, but time change.
There's another story that I'm going to add to the end of this that will further the John story. So this went on.
That accent sounds like Kill Bill.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate nerd revenge fantasy playing out. So he walks over to this guy who's there with his wife eating.
What?
And you see him talking to him, and he's standing there above him, and he's talking to him, and the guy kind of puts his hands up, and he kind of nods, and then he walks back. And he said, he did the whole thing. He walked up to him. He goes, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy said, "Yeah, I know who you are." And he goes, I have to tell you, I was really horrible to you. And I'm really, really sorry for all the things I did to you. And I hope you'll forgive me. And he was the only one that apologized, or at least had the 30 seconds to apologize.
Or at least rumor got around.
The other guys contacted him.
The guys on the list are like,
"Dude, if he shows up, dude, you better apologize."
Then he said, "Nerd Kill Bill."
It was like Nerd Kill Bill.
It was.
All right, I want to fast forward. The same guy is walking down the street in downtown Palm Beach. Some years later, we would go back and forth. When we lived in New York, we'd go to Florida to go visit family, and so we'd go to a bar or restaurant or club, and we'd bump into people we knew, including John. And so he's there holding a newspaper and showing us he's like, "I'm in the paper," and we're like, "What did you do?" So apparently, there was a person who was on drugs and had a gun and was walking around downtown Palm Beach robbing people with a gun to get money for drugs. And he saw this firsthand. He saw the guy hold up an old woman. He ran up to stop it. The guy pointed the gun at him, and with his giant mitt just slapped the gun out of his hand, picked it up,
I remember him
and held him at gunpoint until the police came. That's
He
the
is
same.
a vigilante.
It's like he's a
turned into a vigilante.
Listen, this guy read so many comic books. It's like he was living his life as a comic book. I hope he uses his powers for good. All I have.
He does now.
He did, yeah. I mean, I don't know what he does now. I fell out of time.
So many of your D&D group, like one of them is a Florida Highway Patrol.
Yeah, he became a Florida Highway Patrolman.
I mean,
and he always played a paladin.
And he always played a paladin.
Always played a paladin.
He was all about enforcing the law.
The rules.
Yep.
I always played thieves, like little hobbity thieves, and he was always like, ugh, you hobbits.
So
always stealing things.
I know, and this began with kind of coming up against your bullies or doubters or haters. But I also have been thinking about, I posted on that on our Drawn to Fantasy fan page.
Okay.
There was a post about, when the age that all of these novelists were at when their debut novels came out. Huge authors. You saw that I posted.
I did see that.
Tobin Anderson originally posted it. And I think sometimes we can be our own worst doubters.
Oh, that's good.
And our own worst haters.
I agree.
And our own bullies.
Absolutely.
And so I always think when I have that doubt, because I definitely have that doubt sometimes, is, letting that voice be overpowered by the other voice within me saying, you can do this. You can get through this.
Yeah.
And thinking about talking to yourself like your best friend, like you would talk to your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
If your best friend said, man, I don't think I could do this, you wouldn't say, yeah, you're right, give up, you suck.
Yeah, it's true. So shouldn't you be your own best friend?
Yes.
That seems like good mental health.
That is it. I've been thinking a lot about that lately.
I think it's good that you bring it up. I mean, we have had a lot of. First of all,
this is not the last episode, by the way, Stefania.
No, Friday.
Friday is the last episode.
Yeah,
we're going to be here today, tomorrow, and Friday. The big finale. I will tell you guys, you do not want to miss Friday.
Yes.
You don't want to miss tomorrow either. You're getting good loot.
The loot is nuts.
The loot is sweet.
I raided my my closet. My stores. I raided my stores. We actually added. I never announced this, Ange. That Dina Warner, who does my website. We added a little section to the site. We put this up right before the pandemic broke out. Like I was going to announce it and everything. It's just a new little section just for fun, and it was fake phone call. Sorry about that. Dina and I were just working on. We just wanted to add a new section to the site just to kind of give it a little something until we can post all the art for Kenny and the Book of Beasts. And so we did a rarities section now. If you go to my site under books, you can see some excerpts of some of the more hard to find Tony D collectibles. And the only reason I added it is because I get occasional emails where people will track down a thing and they're like, "Do you know how to, where I could get a copy of this or that?" And so we added a little section where you can kind of see some of those things. Anyway, all that said, I've actually tracked down a few of those super rare items, and we'll be offering them in the junk pots in the next few days.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, and also Dean Baxendale is changing his name so he can have a chance to win again.
All right.
Barbara Kohlberg said, we're all going to cry on Friday.
Oh.
I think we are. Meaning I am too.
Listen, I almost cried yesterday when we were reading the Mobius sketch in my sketchbook, guys. Like, I was telling Ange afterwards, like, here's the deal. I kind of, before we went live...
Oh my gosh, we should do a Zoom call.
Let's do it as a Zoom. Yeah, we can do it as a Zoom.
Let's do it as a Zoom.
You guys want to do that? I won't be able to draw, but we can all talk.
Oh, wow, let's do a Q&A as a Zoom, and then we can see all of you. That's a great idea.
I totally do that. If you guys want to do that, that sounds fun.
Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, we can do it as a Zoomer. yeah, yesterday when we did the sketchbooks, I mean, I quickly went through my sketchbooks to find one that had a lot of neat stuff in it that wasn't too boring. And I'm literally going like this, just flipping. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah, okay, they'll like that. And so I totally forgot that Mobius drawing was in there because I didn't get that far when I did my initial flip through. And I was just struck by that moment of where I was in my life then and where I am in my life now, and how touched I was, and still am, that he would say that to me. You sometimes need that validation. I don't know why. I needed it. I'm sure some of you need it.
That's what heroes are for.
Yeah.
Whether they know they're offering it or not, I think.
And not all of my heroes have given me that.
Absolutely.
Some of they're human. They we all have our I want to say our pros and cons. But it's true.
Some of you don't have a webcam.
Okay.
Some of you don't have Zoom. I don't want anybody to feel left out. Well, maybe we won't do it for the episode. Maybe we could schedule a time after the episode,
after we're done with the.
But we have something special we want you to see, and we're trying to figure out what is the best way.
Listen, I also think we'll probably go live one day next week, at least. I think, because I'm also working on something special for everybody that I'm not going to be able to get done this week because I've got this thing here that I'm working on.
I've seen pages linking Zoom to Facebook Live. What about your YouTube, T? Could you do it that way?
Yeah, I might be able to. Do a YouTube Live.
Because you can do a YouTube Live now, right?
Yeah, in fact, I thought about, now that we're kind of coming near the end of these, like maybe I can actually download them all and move them to YouTube. I know I've done that before.
Facebook has rooms now. I did see that. Also, something else. Was it Facebook? There was something else that now has Instagram. Instagram now has a rooms feature too.
Well, I saw Twitter did it, where you can kind of tweet to only certain people. That was like a big thing.
Zoom is free when you're invited, correct?
Yeah. Zoom is free. I have a Zoom account, so I could set it up and just invite you guys.
And it is free to download.
Yes, it is. We could do that after. I don't want to do a thing that we haven't done up to this point, but maybe we'll do it as a one-off next week or something. We'll do a Zoom.
We'll do that for the other thing you have planned.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, because you guys all follow Undrawn to Fantasy, there are fans of Drawn to Fantasy page on Facebook, we will be posting news there. So when we are going to go live,
we'll post it on my main site.
So you guys have a heads up.
Yeah. Any questions? Well, I'm just. Hopefully, you guys can see it. I realized I forgot to move the phone. I'm just putting all the shadows in on Graham. See, I worked on his wing, and I'm just kind of filling up.
Some people are into zooming.
Well, as Aretha Franklin once said, "Who's zooming who?" That was a dad joke for you, Ange.
Pretty please, let's do a Zoom, Penny said.
Yeah, I'll do a Zoom. That'd be fun.
Let's do a Zoom.
We're all equipped for it. We can do like a Ask Me Anything Zoom.
With 100 of us fans of fantasy, I think Zoom might crash, Brennan Power said.
No, I mean, they're doing graduations, and aren't they doing all kinds of crazy Zoom rooms?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing story times that have quite a few people coming. So
I mean, I'm doing, on Friday, for Book Expo, I'm doing like a breakfast thing where I'm, for booksellers. I'm going to guess there'll be quite a few people on that.
Alfonso said, when are we getting a slide whistle ukulele concert? Hold on,
oh, yeah, that's been a while.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, you better do it for Alfonso.
Hold on, I got to tune her up.
I'll look if you guys... I don't mind the Zoom. I think when you have Zoom all day, back-to-back-to-back Zooms, it's a little much, but, I don't get that. Yeah, Kevin Sylvester did a Zoom visit with 140 kids the other day,
There you
Ange.
go. We could do it.
Let's do it. Let's Zoom. Zoom. We'll have fun. Might actually be easier than when we do the Facebook Live and I have to do the screen share there. That's a lot more involved. Whereas I could just do a Zoom and turn it to a screen share if I wanted to show you something on the screen. You gonna play something for us, Ange?
I don't know. We'll see. I like this because it's let it go, let it go, let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so that's it. I'm playing Let It Go right now. That's it. I just let it go.
You did. You let it go. That was very good for our conversation. That's what, the other thing you got to do with bullies, right?
There you go. Let them go.
The naysayers.
That and shake it off.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm down here again. I'm moving it around with a little bit of water, and I find this part kind of relaxing because it starts to add volume to the thing.
Avery, Zoom is so much easier even than Zoom. Zoom is so much easier even than Skype.
Agreed.
I love it.
Agreed.
Yeah, Kevin Sylvester's doing big events.
Don't you wish we all could get in our DeLoreans and go back to February and just buy some stock in Zoom? Because I'm thinking it's a publicly traded company, and boy, oh boy.
I was doing this. I was taking Yet and making it a little song.
Well, don't you have somebody possibly doing that?
Down in your dreams, having come true, or you're upset by the things you can't do. If you lost, you failed, you cried just a bit, you're fed up with waiting and you're ready to quit. Don't forget your Yet.
I like that. You got to keep going with that, Ange.
You like that?
Well, I always feel like your rhyme is so lyrical anyway because of your love of Dolly and musicals.
Thanks, guys.
So right now we've only used two colors. We've used the, well, three technically, but I mean, I'm just using this same mix that I used earlier. I'm going to paint in such thin coats that it's going to...
Oh, I don't want you to cry, Carolyn. Save that for Friday.
It's not goodbye forever, guys. It's just...
Thanks, Barbara Kohlberg. Just getting her Yet copy in the mail.
Nice.
So earlier we talked about, well, very early on we talked about High Five Books, which was our local independent bookstore, and you guys were so awesome, Kevin Sylvester,
Especially,
buying
right?
those gift certificates. And in this, I forged a really nice virtual friendship with Lexi, the owner. We've been going back and forth and texting and emailing, and we have a friend who's celebrating his 13th birthday that we're going to tomorrow to visit with him, and I decided to get some graphic novels for him for his birthday. He's not watching, so I can share this. And so Lexi arranged for, she had them on the front porch. She left them out for me today, and I ordered them. And I just wanted to do something nice for her. So I called our local flower shop and had a bouquet ready for her to pick up when she's making deliveries, because she's running around town all day making deliveries to families to get books to kids.
That if that doesn't show the importance of an independently owned business, especially a bookstore, I don't know what does.
Right?
I'm not saying that Barnes & Noble wouldn't do that, or Amazon,
Right.
but, you know, it's just one person hustling,
She's one person.
adapting to our changing reality.
And so she and I were messaging, and she just said, you know, when everyone gives, everyone gets.
Yes.
And I thought, oh man, that is such an awesome sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I agree.
It's been so touching to see all of your responses, because what began with us just wanting to
create a diversion for you.
Exactly.
That's it. What can we do to make create a diversion? Just to take our minds off of something for an hour every day, off the news and foreboding and anxiety and all the things that I think I was also fascinated by the fact that we're globally sharing this, that our friends over in the UK and in Germany and Poland and South America and Mexico, they're all experiencing the same thing. Not just...
Right?
It's just, I don't know.
We are living in these historic times. Like, what's it going to be? We lived in New York City on 9/11. That shaped the life we're living right now. We left New York City, and we're living here in Western Massachusetts because of that. And so I think we're all going to look back when we read about this in history books and see all those reflections that come up on all of the anniversaries of events.
Yeah.
Every 10 years we're going to be thinking about, oh gosh, in 2030 we'll be thinking about, do you remember life in 2020? You remember life, we're going to be in 2040. Do you remember life in 2020?
It's crazy.
And I'm going to remember this.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Let's
remember
add this to the memories
that we all shared
together. All right, I gotta let this dry a little bit. I'm working them, and I just need them to dry up a little bit. I'll take any questions.
Sure.
Sorry, you may hear the tinkling of the ice. I made a little iced coffee.
Carolyn Pagan, we never forget Italy. She said, don't forget Italy.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? The motherland?
Oh my gosh, Lexi just messaged me, the owner high five. She wrote, excuse me? These are stunning. Thank you so much, Ange. They're just the thing to add.
Eric Burkert said it. Great memories during a dark time. You're right, Eric Burkert.
Look at this little bouquet. She just.
I really want a meme of that, Eric Burkert, but it's the oh my god girl saying great memories during a dark time.
She just got her flowers picked up.
Nice. Those are a nice little arrangement.
I love this. Oh, this florist is amazing. It's called Forest Flowers in Northampton, Massachusetts. It's another little new business that opened.
I ran out of paint. It's just water and dried paint, so I gotta mix a little more.
Elisa Huberman said, do you like Studio Ghibli?
Oh.
Ghibli. Sorry. Right?
Ghibli.
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 It is Studio Ghibli.
Ghibli. Named after a plane, I think. A type of plane. Do we like Studio Ghibli? That's a
we don't like Studio Ghibli.
We don't. We do not.
We
love Studio Ghibli. We're big Studio Ghibli fans here.
And by the way, that was not to pat myself on the back. That is just to say, you know what, share a small kindness with someone.
Yeah, that goes a long way. Yeah, we're huge Studio Ghibli fans. Big fans of Hayao Miyazaki, and I mean, he's hugely influential on what I do. All right, here we go. I'm working on this lower part of the wing. There's even an Easter egg for Miyazaki in the third Wandla book. There's a landmark named after him that they talk about, and they say it's named after a famed storyteller. So, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind was very influential on Wandla. So, and I love acknowledging the people who inspired me. I've got enough of my own original voice that I don't need to secretly hide the people who were part of why I am who I am. That's always been the way I've felt about that. I'm always happy to acknowledge, Kenny and the Dragon. I was happy to name them Graham and Kenneth. There was no, it wasn't like I was hiding it. I don't mind acknowledging. So yeah, big Ghibli fans.
T, can I pick two?
Junk Potters?
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to, anyone who's starting with yesterday. So yesterday was Gabe, right? Or Gage? I'm sorry, Gage.
Yeah.
Gage Menard. They'll probably all go out, by the way, at the end of the week or early next week, just because they're books. I have to go to the post office with them, so they won't go out right away. They'll take a day or two for me to.
I mean, you've got a pretty sweet haul over there. So would it be okay if I pick 2?
I think it'd be okay, Ange.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay! Because I've got 2 that I'm thinking. I'm writing.
On your mind, huh? You're already thinking about it. Oh, we're coming up on the hour. I didn't even realize it.
I think that's it. I don't think I have to look at my list, but I don't think either of these people have won.
Okay.
I'm already thinking about it because I'm excited for our winners.
Nice. I'll pull a
Picking 2, guys.
2 winners.
Well, you know what it is? I'm always like super bummed because I know I'm not. It's like it is that thing where it's like I know everyone can't be a winner,
But you want them all.
but I want them to be. I really do. I don't want the letdown.
Yeah, I mean, we can't give it to Kevin Sylvester and Lee Fody and Eric Burkert
Lee Fody got
and
his
Emily C. Martin and
goodies.
Lexi and I mean, some of these people, some of you all, I feel like I know you because you're here every day, and I'm seeing you talk about it on other social platforms, Twitter and Instagram.
Jason Malona said, "Pick as many old-time winners too." As much as I would want to, and want to thank you for your.
The thing I'm making for next week is a special thank you to everybody.
Don't you?
No? For next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Participation awards, exactly.
Ah.
Are you familiar with Artemis Fowl? Elisa, did you see the post the other day?
Yeah, we've known Owen Kofer for so long. I mean, I read Artemis when it first came out. I mean, that was during Spiderwick's heyday and Harry Potter and series of unfortunate events. And so I've known Owen a long time. And yeah, we talked about this the other day with the David Bowie. And that I did a special print. You have to go back 2 episodes? Mm-hmm. Go back 2 episodes. Go back to Monday, I think.
Steve Jankowitz said, it's pretty fun to hear your name being called out. I agree. And I have to tell you, I've been watching other lives, like on Instagram and stuff.
Okay.
And there's a makeup artist who I really like.
Okay.
And so I was watching one of his lives and I asked a question and he was like, "Oh, Angela asks blah 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 blah," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you picked me!"
It's so funny, right?
I loved it. I got excited too. You're all winners.
Yes.
And in the end, you're right. We have sent about half the viewers of this have won.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the numbers. Plastic trophies for all.
Yeah, this is a little wet here. I gotta let it dry. See, what happens is, I should zoom in on this. I'll show you guys the pitfalls of working with acrylic gouache.
We are.
So this is still wet. I'm gonna zoom in on it. This is why I need to let it dry, and I'm overworking it a little bit. See, that's still wet. Now it's got a nice texture to it, but right now, if I was to put more paint down, it's going to lift. See that? It lifted. So this is what happens. The paper and the board, it gets so wet. Now I'm moving the paint around now just to kind of make it look a little not so terrible. But I got to let it dry. That's the problem. When it gets so wet and I keep putting the paint down on top of it, it doesn't have a chance to build up the layers. So that's kind of what I need to do. I need to let this guy dry. So I think with that in mind, I can't go any further with him until it's a little drier, Ange. So maybe you want to, if you know who your junk pot winners are, let's show them what they're going to win.
Ooh, show them their stuff.
Because we don't have any real stuff. Well, here, I'll move him over. What's that playing on the radio?
I know, we were listening to the Grease soundtrack.
All right. Here we go.
Luisa Diamante said, "Being noticed is weird. Good weird."
Okay. Let me grab a couple. Let's see what today's going to be. So we we got that.
It's kind of like...
Oh, we have 2 winners, right? So I'm going to make 2.
2 winners.
So I need to make 2
two
pots.
heaps. So you know when you go to a concert and you swear that the performer is looking right at you? It's like that weird feeling. You know, where you're like, I'm being seen. I'm being noticed. They see me. Yes,
right,
junk pot.
Andrew, I'm going to make... I've made 3 piles. So let's do... Here's...
Charity Muniz says, when Soph was little, did she want to help you draw? My 3-year-old keeps taking my sketchbook and embellishing. You know whose work you should check out?
Is...
Busy Mockingbird.
Busy Mockingbird. I don't... Well, Micah Hendricks is what she'd be on Facebook.
But on Instagram, she's
Busy Mockingbird. And her daughter have been creating art together for 10 years, I want to say, since she was like an infant, where Micah would do a drawing and then she'd let her daughter come in with a crayon and add to it, and then she would paint it realistically. And we actually traded with her because we love her stuff so much. I did a little painting of Thimbletack for her, and she did a drawing of Sophia. It was just terrific. So that's a way, and I actually it inspired me. I did a team up piece. I did that Dr. Seuss piece with Soph for reading his fundamentals.
You guys used to draw together. You would do a drawing. Soph would be like, draw Lady Gaga.
Yeah, and then she'd color it.
And then she'd color it. You'd draw it. She'd color it or add pom-poms or
eyes. Stickers. Now it's kind of turned to, because Soph's going to be 13 this weekend. She'll come down to the studio. Like the other night, she came to my drawing table. She cleared off the drawing table and did a bunch of drawings. She likes to draw next to me or near me, but not necessarily with me, like we're working on a thing together. Anyway, we got 2 junk pots. So here we go. I told you I was going to dig deep. The no longer available Wandla sketchbook. This one's from the Battle of Wandla. This shows some of the developmental sketches that went in to the Wandla trilogy. So we gave these out when I was on book tour, and so I've got a tiny stash of them left.
Busy Mockingbird, not Crazy Mockingbird.
I'm the Crazy Mockingbird. She's the Busy Mockingbird. I'm also going to include one of the Ralph McQuarrie wallets. So that's just this. I'll sign all this stuff as well. The postcard wallet of Ralph McQuarrie images from Star Wars. And one of my favorite audio recordings. This is Andrew McCarthy, a.k.a. Blaine, reading the first of the Beyond the Spiderwick books. He does a great job. So that's junk pot number 1, Ange. Who's going to get that?
Dang, well, what's junk pot number 2?
Whoa, okay. Well, junk pot number 2, I'm glad you asked, is a collection of my player character record sheets. There's not many of these left either. We did these for Gen Con, but they are still sold online, so you can still get them if you really need them. So it's 20 drawings, 20 characters. You can't see, it's a little bit.
Whoa, so many hearts.
Oh,
so
a lot of love. A lot of love.
A lot of love.
A collection of Spiderwick postcards. So there's, 8 or 9 Spiderwick postcards here. And the Kenny and the Dragon audiobook read by Broadway's Alan Cumming. And also the last thing I didn't include is, of course, an advanced reader's copy of Kenny and the Book of Beasts is also added to this. So 2 people...
Both of them? Sweet.
Yes, so 2 people are getting that today. So here, I'll add a book so you can see the surprises. So there you go.
Like
So that's...
I can feel your appendages crossed. I can feel people sending out all the vibrations for me to pick their name. It's like I can feel it.
So this is...
Nope.
This is junk pot number 1, Ange. Are you ready?
Okay, junk pot number 1.
Junk pot number 1.
Do I have to put the music on yet?
No, but you can cue it up for after you do the second one. Ready? So I'm going to do the drum roll.
Hold on.
Junk pot number 1.
Hold on.
Okay, you let me know when you're ready.
Boom skiz. Let's see. Okay. All right. Right now I'm waiting for it to cut out. Oh, by the way, everyone said they're missing the blow dryer noise. Can you just turn that on for just a minute?
You.
They just need to hear the blow dryer.
I need it actually on this. That's probably what I'll do after we finish today. I'll just sit here and dry Graham off.
Up by the camera, you can just put it up there.
So before we go, the most important thing you need to know about art is, and that's how you do it. It's like when Howard Stern does his, when he's talking to his mother and he takes out the megaphone, he's like,
oh,
Hello, Howard. Anyway, here we are. Junk pot number 1. Juan Esty, you are the winner of Junk Pot number 1 today. Juan, please send me a direct message with your mailing address, and I will put all of this stuff. It will be signed. Well, I'll sign this and this. And this is all yours, Juan. This is one heck of a haul. I want you to take this package and walk down the street with it and go, yeah, Tony D sent me this. He sent me all this.
Do you do like a doodle with that or anything too?
Whoa, let's not push it. Come on. I mean, really. This is, we're...
You usually include like a little post, like...
Yeah, we always throw swag. Anyone who's been a previous winner will tell you there's lots and lots of swag. Okay, so that's one.
Congratulations, Juan.
Let me, I'll put that aside. I'll make sure I put a Post-it on it so I know whose is whose.
What if somebody gets just this tiny pencil?
Oh, I need that pencil. All right. Junk pot number 2 because we're crazy.
Oh my gosh, we are crazy.
Look at this.
Today.
It's a Kenny in the Drain. Look, you'll be all caught up on all things Kenny, and a little Spiderwick, and a little D&D in your life. You ready?
The winner of Junk Pot number 2 is Charity Munoz.
Charity Munoz, congratulations, Charity. This is all yours. I will sign it to you. Please send me a direct message with your mailing address, and we will get it in the mail to you. And what a terrific episode, Ange. I hope you had a good time.
Oh
I
gosh,
had a
an
terrific
awesome
time. Tune in.
You guys.
2:30. I'm going to go on early tomorrow.
Sweet.
And we'll figure out. We've got 2 more episodes left, so I don't know if you guys. Angel, post the question again. Do you want to do a little more sketchbook dive? Do you want to see sketches for something else? Maybe it's not a sketchbook. Maybe you're like, show me. I know someone mentioned like all the Wandla sketches or something like that. So Angel will post something on the fans of fantasy.
We need to look
group.
at Juan's art, by the way. It's supposed to be amazing.
Well, I'm very excited to see Juan's art. And I want you all to know that we think of you all. And we're super excited to see you again tomorrow.
We're your fans. We are fans of the Drawn to Fantasy fans.
Does that just mean we love ourselves?
No, it means we love them for loving us.
Yeah. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Be healthy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Twirl on those haters, guys. Haters gonna hate. Say bye to those doubters. Believe in yourself. And be your own best friend. You got this.
Ooh, I think Pippin's got to go out.
Pippin's gotta go.
He's definitely giving me a look. If that ain't a guy, I got to go out. I don't know what is.